art is too important not to share. Welcome to the Allie and Callie Artcast.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie. Welcome to the Artcast.
Yes, welcome. We're here in downtown Coeur d'Alene.
Yes, it's lovely today.
It is.
There's a breeze.
It's not even nice. 80 today.
I know.
It's 77.
I actually brought a little jacket.
Really? Wow.
I don't know why.
That's so weird for August.
I know. I was a little chilled, but I love it.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
I know.
this is
I'm
nice.
loving it too.
Nice for a change. But what's new with you, girl?
Well, my front yard got neglected the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
And Kevin and I went out and really cleaned it up this weekend. And it looks great. The ponds are clean. The fountains are going.
Oh, nice.
Even the neighbors have commented that it looks good.
That's very nice.
Makes me really sad that they had to live with it for 2 years before we got it cleaned up. But
that's good.
Yeah. So,
let's see. A couple things. So, my mother-in-law is living in our other house. And she said, we're trying to get the garage cleared out so she can park a car. And we're going to add electricity so it has an automatic door and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And there's so much stuff in there. By the way, if anybody needs some theater chairs, we have a bunch of them from the old Lake City Playhouse. If anyone wants them, they're free. Contact me, Allie.
In fact, I think that anything you might need,
is in our garage.
Callie, because she probably has it.
I have so much. And so, but as we were in there, my mother-in-law said to Stu and myself, and she says, aren't you embarrassed? Because there was grass growing in the garage.
Oh, no.
It's an old garage.
Right.
And I'm like, no. It's a garage.
It's a garage.
And it's mostly been a storage space. So, and for a boat and some scooters and lawnmowers. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. But so that's the goal, is to get that cleared out really soon. But excited for our trip to Walla Walla.
Yes, we're headed to Walla Walla, road tripping again.
Allie and Callie on the road again.
That's right.
Just can't wait to get on the road again. Yes, we're going to have so much fun. We've got the theater. We've got some wine. We've got some art. What more do we need? We'll probably listen to
Art
music.
Walla. Art Walla.
Which I don't know anything about.
I know.
So
I think they're kind of Walla Walla's answer to the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance.
I love it. So
I'm guessing.
So we're going to find out more.
We are.
We're going to have 3 or 4 podcasts out of that. So pretty much stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned.
But today we're excited because we have our own Northwest filmmaker. Caden, how do you say your last name so I don't?
Butera.
Because I would say butane or butane.
However you want to say it, works just fine.
Butera. Well, welcome to the Artcast.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah,
we're excited to have you and hear about all these amazing projects that you have going.
Thank you.
It's so crazy that this is happening right here in Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, it's surprising how many filmmakers are actually kind of hiding in the bushes in every town,
Right?
You just got to kind of look around, you'll find them eventually.
Right, I love it. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into the business.
Yeah, so I've been making films since I was like 9, 10 years old. If you can call them films, you have to kind of start somewhere. It started from just, forcing my friends and brother to be in really bad projects, and slowly but surely through trial and error, working my way through kind of improving. At least I hope.
Right.
Basically, around the high school part of my quote-unquote career, I started doing more freelance stuff and commercial work, shooting weddings, was a photographer and videographer for a gun holster company for a while, and then basically that was kind of my way of learning the technical side of film, was doing commercial work, learning how to operate the camera and all the technical aspects, and then the creative aspects was just kind of through, again, trial and error and watching lots of movies, but never actually went to film school for better or worse. And now here I am, just trying to make things happen. I've done 2 feature films now, and really excited to talk about the last one we did when we get there.
Cool.
And you have your own studios, correct?
Yeah, so we have a production company here in Coeur d'Alene called Paradox Studios. I run that with my family, actually. So it's
family-run movie house.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's as crazy as it sounds. Overall, we all work together really great. But we're a family. Families drive each other crazy every now and then.
Of
but
course.
It's a really special thing that we have going on, where we all get to kind of talk to each other in a less, I guess, polished way, because we all have a shorthand with each other, get on each other's nerves, but we love each other more than any collaborator I've ever worked with, and it's really special,
Awesome.
really cool.
So it's you and your brother and your mom and dad,
Yes,
right?
That's correct. So my father does a lot of executive producing work, line producing work. My mother is the producer on a lot of our things in production managing, and then my brother is my co-writer and music composer.
Wow.
So he's currently working really hard doing the original score for our last feature, Recollection, right now.
Which we did see some clips.
We
but
did.
We can't share them because it's not available yet.
Yeah,
It's not available.
We
But we got a little
the
sneak peek, which it looks very cool. So,
Thank you.
So what filmmakers were you influenced by? It looks like you like this. Are you more of a sci-fi buff?
Yeah, I'm definitely a huge sci-fi buff. I hate to be the guy who answers any story that is moving is what I like, but it is true. I'm not a huge stickler for it has to be a specific genre in order for me to engage with it. At the end of the day, I'm a character guy. I'm most inspired by character-driven stories. That being said, things that make the medicine go down easier are sci-fi action movies. Those are kind of what really got me inspired into filmmaking when I was like, a 10-year-old. Star Wars blew my mind away. So I can't deny that, sci-fi action was probably my biggest inspiration as far as genre goes growing up. But I've kind of ventured into loving all the different genres more or less. But sci-fi in particular has always been special for me. I think it's a place where you can tackle really small personal ideas in a very large landscape. You can kind of make the story world reflect a small human idea.
I love that.
That's why big inspirations talking about movies that inspired me. Minority Report, if anyone's ever seen it.
Yes.
It's a great movie. It's tackling, free will, but in the context of this big utopian sci-fi world that of course has flying cars and all the cool stuff.
Right.
But at the center of it is a really interesting philosophical idea. So that was kind of what inspired me to make our movies like that can tackle a philosophical idea in the landscape of something larger.
Right. And you actually write the scripts, right?
I do, yeah. I co-write it with my brother Rylan. But yeah.
Wow.
And where do you film?
So we filmed this Recollection in Coeur d'Alene, a little bit of Post Falls, Sandpoint, and Spokane.
Okay.
But all kept it here in the Pacific Northwest and shot a lot of it at the Movie Ranch, just 20 minutes from where we are.
I've been there. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Really?
Mystery Ridge Movie Ranch, owned by Jerry Bucksbaum and Amanda Steen, two really amazing, kind people. They've got a whole
There's like
whole
a
thing
whole
over there.
Western set.
Oh my
Which
God.
is, the Western set is what we built
And then
on
I
2020.
think I saw the remnants of one of your sci-fi sets.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
It's cool. Yeah, movie ranches are like a big kind of graveyard for past projects.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a spaceship over there, a
I
Western town
had
over
no
there.
idea that we had one of those.
It's
And
really
cool.
We're going to have to go visit
It's
it.
up here, kind of
wow.
up that way. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know it's there. It's just kind of tucked away, but
It's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah,
the only
Jerry's
time
super
I've
nice.
the only time I've ever been to a movie set like that is in, I think it's called Virginia City outside of Tucson.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And
Yep.
they have one. And that, I loved that. It was all Western stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just really fun to walk around and say, oh, I remember when this was in a movie, or,
Yeah.
it's just cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge sucker for like going to the Warner Brothers lot tour, that they have in LA. All those things are so exciting.
I've never done that either.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I did some very bad mystery theaters in Seattle in the
cool.
90s.
What was your part in it?
I was a damsel in distress.
Oh, you acted in it.
Oh, yeah,
that's
I was
exciting.
an actress. Yeah, and God forbid they ever get shown or found.
That is awesome.
I just remember one where I was crawling in like slug-infested garden and just going, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? But we had much fun, and I was in a nightgown and just going, oh,
geez.
I don't even remember the story, but it was so long ago.
And you said you're doing it while people are like eating dinner and fun?
No.
Oh.
It was outside. It was an actual, I think we were on cable TV.
Oh, really?
It was a cable show.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Things I did in the past.
Yep.
You got to dig it up.
She's an actress if you ever want to
if
call
you
her.
need-
For
yeah.
Very cool,
You
yeah.
ever need a 60-something-year-old lady?
You never know, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Call
I
me,
could see her with an astronaut helmet on.
There you go.
On
Yeah.
another planet.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Allie and Callie, podcasters of the future.
In space, yeah.
And I see what I've seen a lot of some of your stuff with familiar actresses. Like I know Bonnie and I know Aubrey, Aubrey. I think what I love is like all the effects. You have a great effects.
The special effects.
The special
yes.
effects
Yeah.
are great.
Oh, thank
do
you.
you guys do all that too, or do you send it
Yeah,
out?
well,
or what-
it's a mixture of all the above. So with the zombie one in particular, which is called Dead Men Ride Again, which we'll be releasing soon, actually, it is a mixture of practical effects, as in like lots of like blood and goop and everything you can think of crammed into kind of like an air canister or something, and then when we say 3, 2, 1 action, it gets blown out by some compressed air, and that's courtesy a lot of the times of Jerry Bucksbaum, who was our FX coordinator. Shout out to him. And then a lot of the times like you need something that couldn't be captured practically, and that's where we have a talented VFX artist, Max Jordan, who's also Coeur d'Alene local, who does it in the computer with computer-generated imagery and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, in my opinion, the best version of that is a mixture of both, where you can have a real practical thing on set, and then you can sweeten it or dot those I's and cross the T's in post.
Right.
And how do you do that?
As far as
how do you add those dotted T's and crossed I's?
it's honestly a matter of I guess taste, which can only be informed by deciding what you like and what you don't like, and making previous projects that were bad and knowing what you want to do different the next time around.
Okay.
In the instance of this zombie movie, we wanted to find the tone of like, it's going to be violent, but it's not going to be so upsettingly violent, which again is subjective, but to the point where we're like upsetting people. We want it to be gross, but we don't want it to be a bummer,
Right.
So finding the tone of like, what does that mean, and how actually realistic do we want a zombie's head to explode? Do we want it to be silly but still gory, or do we want it to be really grounded and depressing? So finding what, if you lean this way or that way, what it feels like.
Sure.
So
That's fun.
it's kind of making those choices and then informing your visual effects people.
For all your screen printing needs, trust the local you can count on. Pyramid Printing has been a Coeur d'Alene favorite for over 2 decades.
Specializing in screen printing, embroidery, signs, banners, and stickers. For all jobs, big and small, just give Eric a call.
Email us at info@pyramidprintingcda.com or give us a call at 208-664-0254.
PyramidPrintingCDA.com.
The Ovation Company, in partnership with the Chalkboard Agency, is committed to improving the climate and culture of our schools. The number one indicator for student success is connectedness, feeling like you are part of something. Nothing helps connect people like a good story. After all, isn't a podcast a way to share and collect stories? The Chalkboard Agency's mission is to connect the world of education through the stories that bond us all. To find out more, visit thechalkboardagency.com. And if you have a story to tell that you believe would help young people to be kinder to one another, reach out to the Chalkboard Agency and let us connect you to the world. So back to Allie's question of like, how do you do that? So it's all a part of the process of editing. Who does that?
So I'm the editor for all of the films that we're doing at this current moment in time. Mm-hmm. At some point, I might delegate that responsibility to someone else, but for the time being, it's myself.
Right. That's cool.
And what platform do you use to edit?
I am using a platform that would make some editors cringe, and so I'm embarrassed to say it every time. But at the end of the day, it's whatever.
We might love it. You never know.
It works.
Yeah.
So I'm transitioning to a program called DaVinci Resolve, but currently I've edited everything in Final Cut Pro 10.
Oh, I do not think you should be embarrassed about that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
See, I don't think so either.
Use what works.
Yeah.
Use what works.
Right.
But yeah, I color grade in DaVinci, but I do all of the cutting in Final Cut.
So what do you feel like is the hardest part of getting the project going? Is it the financing? Is it what do you feel?
Right. Financing is certainly the easy answer.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everyone and their dog has an idea for a movie. The actual executing of that, of course, is the gateway is having the money to do it.
Right.
But that's a less interesting answer, I guess. The hardest part for me is honestly pinning yourself down on making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
When you're, especially in the early process of coming up with story ideas, which is often called like the blue sky period, where anything is possible. We want to make a movie. We're going to sit down and talk about what could happen in this movie. What do we want it to be? Mm-hmm. That part can easily become, at least for me, option paralysis, where if the movie can be everything, you don't want to narrow it down to one thing.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, I want it to be funny, but I want it to be sad, and I want it to be big, but I want it to be small, and I want it to be funny, but you just do that forever until if your movie's about everything, it can become about nothing. And so having the, I guess, creative discipline to make decisions on what you want to keep and what you want it to not be, and what is the story actually about thematically, is really, really fun, but it can also feel sad that you have to throw certain ideas away because they're really exciting, really juicy, but they're not right for this movie.
Right.
And that's something that I struggle with as well, is just knowing when to want to have your cake and eat it too, and when to narrow something down. And once you get there and you are actually clear on what type of project you want to make, once you're on set is a whole other set of challenges, but at least you've thoroughly thought things out. The scariest thing can be when you're on set and you still don't really know what the tone of your story is, what this movie's actually about. And when an actor comes and asks you, like, why is this line really here? And you don't have a reason for it, you're in trouble.
You're like, oops.
You are dealing with the consequences of skipping past what you should have done months ago in the script phase. So I guess the option paralysis of writing a story can be a really tricky barrier to entry.
Right. So
Are you the director also?
Yes. So my main title is director, and then I guess by default I'm also the editor and the writer. Yeah.
You do it all.
Wow.
I know. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah,
And
it can be.
you mentioned financing. Obviously this takes a little bit of money. Do you have advertisers, or how does that work?
So in this one in particular, I guess the first film that I directed, it was a rom-com in Oregon. That one I was hired on as just a hired gun to direct. It was someone else's script. Someone else was producing it, had already acquired the funds, and they said, hey, I really liked your zombie western. Could you come and give some of that flavor to this project that I've already kind of acquired the funds for? And so in that instance, it's pretty simple. They pay me, I come in and get it to pre-production principal photography, post-production, and then I leave and in theory never have to really worry about it again. in this instance with Recollection, this one was made entirely in-house based off our script, and that was a mixture of self-funding and then also a private investor. And that paired with also just a little bit of crowdfunding, we got enough money in the pot to get us something into
cool
production.
So when did you start filming that, and when do you feel it will be released?
Good question. So I believe we wrapped almost 2 years ago now, and that definitely sounds like a long time, and it is. The Hollywood is really, really efficient and really fast, and if they have a problem, they can throw 100 people and $100 million at it, you know?
Right, yeah.
And us, like little guys over here, what we maybe lack in speed, we're trying to make up in, quality and being able to take our time. The trade-off is, it takes us 2 years to pump out a feature film. But we finished shooting about 2 years ago. Took about a year to really cut it together. We had an assembly cut a while back, but it was a matter of, okay, we have our movie now. Is it any good? We could, assume that my opinion about it is the only opinion that matters, or we could show it to some people and see what they think. So we spent a long time showing it to some personal friends and some other film people, getting feedback, and then slowly but surely molding it into the shape that it would eventually take. And now we're getting it through VFX, the final color grade, sound mixing, the music composition, all of those things have to come together, and we are going to be releasing it hopefully in a few months at some film festivals.
Oh,
awesome.
Fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what film festivals do you think you'll go for?
Right. So there is a million zillion film festivals.
Yeah.
We spent a long time narrowing down, I think it was around 10 or 11 really important ones that we thought we had a decent shot of getting in for, while also it being, a legitimate good film festival that we wanted to share our film with.
Right.
And so I don't remember all the names off the top of my head.
Right.
But we really narrowed it down to about 10, and we're waiting to hear back from all of them.
Oh, cool.
That's
so
exciting.
they basically have to accept you.
Correct, yeah. And it's really, really tricky. It's all competitive depending on who you talk to. It's a little political. Like if you want to get into something like Sundance, a lot of people say that you have to basically, just like if you want to run for president, you have to campaign for it like a year and a half before.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of red tape that's involved in getting into a film festival that is tricky, but at the end of the day, if it was really easy to get into, then it wouldn't matter if you got into them. So
Yeah, there you have it.
You and I could have done it.
Yeah. Which is a little scary.
But yeah, so fingers crossed that we get into some of the ones we submitted to.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What is your ultimate goal as a filmmaker? What would be your ooh?
Right. My main goal is honestly to make a comfortable living making movies that I want to make. And that's obviously pretty broad. But a lot of people, have the goal to move to LA and make movies.
Right.
I'm happy to make movies wherever, whether it's LA, here, Iowa.
Right.
I don't care. As long as I get to make the movies that I have fun making and make it with people that I really like. And so wherever that takes me, right now it's here. If I end up having to move to a different pool of people to make it happen, so be it. But that's kind of my main goal right now.
Did you grow up here?
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've since I was 2 years old. So.
Right. Oh, that's cool. So I love the fact that you are locally
Local.
based.
Yeah. And we try our hardest to work with all local people, more or less. We do fly some people in. We had some stars in this one that we got to keep up here. But all of our main crew, all Spokane, Coeur people. So, yeah, it's really special.
So speaking of the actors, tell us who is in this film and how you came about getting these people, because I saw a couple of names that I actually recognized.
Yeah, we have our lead is an actress named Rosalind Luke, who grew up here, I believe, and she's in LA now, but she's from Z Nation. She's been in a couple of cool shows. She plays our lead. And then our second lead is an actor named Falk Henschel, who people might know as Hawkman in the CW Flash show and the Arrowverse show. He was in White House Down with Channing Tatum.
Oh, wow.
He got to fight Tom Cruise in Night and Day. So he has a lot of crazy stories.
Yeah.
He's an incredible talent, and I actually met him at a Comic-Con in like 2020, I think, 2019. Wow. Mm-hmm. And we just really hit it off and stayed in touch. And then I ended up directing his movie, which I talked about earlier, the rom-com. And then also Cesar Garcia is in it. He, people might know him from Breaking Bad. He was in a couple episodes of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Mm-hmm. He was in one of the Fast and Furious movies. He's just a really awesome, kind dude who basically got his bread and butter for a long time was playing like a gangbanger type. He himself has a really interesting story of he actually himself was in a gang for a lot of his life. He was very open about it, and eventually decided to turn his life around and pretend to be in a gang on screen.
Yeah,
which is really, really interesting, and basically turned to acting and took kind of his intrinsic knowledge of this lifestyle, but decided to share it through fiction. And then this character that he plays in this is very much not that at all. It's like a very polished security guard character. And he was really excited to get the chance to play a character that was so not what he was used to playing.
Yeah, not typecast.
Yeah, and in a story where is essentially is your past what defines you, and he really related to that. And so he does an excellent job in this movie. And then Eric Roberts is in this movie as well, who people know from like Runaway Train, from Righteous Gemstones, from The Dark Knight. That was the big one for me.
Yeah.
He's in everything. He's
been around a long time.
The one that I really recognize.
Yeah. He was he plays what, I don't want to spoil it, but kind of an antagonistic character in our film. Oh, cool. And he is just the most charismatic dude you'll ever meet, and I'm so glad that he got to play a charismatic character in our movie, because I didn't really realize, but his character is very similar to who he is in real life. He's just kind of. I mean, the character he plays is very despicable. I don't want to give people the wrong idea, but as far as like his characterization and how he talks, he's a big goofball, and he's very charismatic, very jokey all the time, and he was a blast to work with. Want to backtrack what I said. He's not as terrible as he is in our movie. He's a villain in our movie. He's better than that in real life.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, he was at an instance of, again, we just reached out to his agent and said, like, this might be a long shot, but we'd like to have him play this character, and what do you think? And he read the script and was apparently really inspired by it, and here we are.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Greetings, listeners of the Allie and Callie Artcast podcasts. This is Jason from Tubbs Coffee Roasters. Keeping art alive and culture relevant is the heart and soul of our community of creatives. And as a local coffee roaster who loves a good origin story of a painter or a farmer or a musician, we proudly support the Allie and Callie's Artcast podcast's expansion and exploration through positive conversation. So grab a cup of coffee, preferably one from Tubbs Coffee Roasters, and tune in, humans. Your ears will thank you.
Add a little flair to your special events with Scraps Barbecue, a great catering choice for your next gathering. Specializing in golf tournaments, sporting events, weddings, and other family friend gatherings, their commercial kitchen can be on site, or you can choose to have a fully catered meal delivered right to you. Known for their authentic Santa Maria style tri-tip and tequila lime fish tacos, they can customize the menu to meet your needs for groups of 20 to 2,500. Contact Kevin at kevin@scrapsbarbecue.com or check them out on Facebook. All right, well, I really want to start delving into your Recollection movie and talk to you about, first of all, what was it like directing these actors that have kind of been around the block? And
Right. It was certainly intimidating for like a total of 2 minutes. As far as I was very nervous the whole time working up into it, because we're doing Zoom rehearsals and he's a really cool dude, but I'm like, oh, once I get on the set, am I gonna choke? Is he gonna be really intimidating? And something that was so relieving to know, which kind of seems obvious at the time, is, like you said, he's been around the block. He's a veteran actor. He knows exactly how to keep a director at ease if he wants to. And because Eric isn't a rude dude, he made me feel so at ease. He's his favorite catchphrase is calling people boss. So he's just, you got it, boss, whatever you want, boss. And I was just like, oh, I guess I am the boss. It's kind of weird. And so he really just makes me feel at ease, because this, again, a guy who I grew up watching The Dark Knight and seeing him as Maroni, as this like kind of not even a real person. He's a person that exists in a Batman film, and now here he is walking around on my set. But he really just makes me feel comfortable, and once we get going, it's just a matter of, playing around in the scene, is just having open conversations, like, I kind of think this, pass the ball to you, and he'll go like, yeah, I think that's cool, or yeah, I don't know, and then we just kind of talk about it very informally, honestly, and then we just start rolling. And then of course he gives you a great performance. It's the director's job to steer the ship. It's always going to be a good performance. The question is it the right one for the scene? So he's always giving you gold. The question is this the right flavor that you had in mind? And so you kind of maybe steer it this way or steer it that way, and his go-to thing is, you got it, boss. And I'm like, oh,
that's great.
Well, here we go. I'm directing Eric Roberts. And of course, every now and then we'll get something where it's like, he's like, I'm actually not really feeling that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, how so? And then we just talk through, and he's a guy who's willing to pretty much try anything within reason, and the rest is history. So
great.
Cool.
Yeah. And what did like these people, I assume, well, a lot of them weren't from here. So what did they think of Coeur d'Alene and this area?
Yeah, good question.
I mean, I'm just like, we're kind of out of,
I know, right?
Not in the norm area to film.
Right.
So what did they think?
I think they all loved it, and they all got to stay somewhere within downtown Coeur d'Alene while we were shooting the scenes that were close to here, and they all had a great time. I know Caesar got to go like paddle boarding on the weekends with one of our actors who's playing like his tactical minion. They got to go paddle boarding on Saturday and
that's awesome.
See the lake, and everyone
so they got to play a little.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
good.
It was it's a great place to make movies, as far as like, walk 2 seconds this way and you have tons of forest, walk 2 seconds this way, you got a city, and if you need something that's more rustic, you just 45 minutes that way is Spokane, you know.
Got it all.
As long as you are, treating things with respect, you'd be surprised how many people are willing to let you shoot in locations. So we had a great time shooting here.
That's awesome.
Well, give us a synopsis of the movie.
Yeah.
And how did you come up with this idea?
Sure. So this movie is basically about, in a society where you can just delete inconvenient memories for you. So if you have trauma, or even if it's something like an embarrassing social mistake, just go to the Vitality memory booth and delete it. And we follow a character who does that excessively to the point where she's addicted, until one day she goes into a memory booth and gets all her memories back at once and uncovers a suspicious conspiracy within the company itself. Oh. And then, without spoiling it, finds out that there are lots at play and amidst this company, and it turns more into a thriller, kind of almost murder mystery, as she has to unpack her past. To answer the question about where this kind of came from, is I have a weird background as a quote-unquote writer, because my mother is a mental health therapist, or was for many, many years. And so my biggest inspiration, and what inspires me the most about stories, are, again, character and the philosophical questions, and through the lens of mental health. And the dramatic question of, like, are we our memories, and our traumatic memories, they're terrible, they shouldn't have happened to us, but they do give us resilience for encountering other bad things in life. And so I thought that was a really kind of scary topic to grab. And when something scares me, it gets me excited. Because on one hand, it's like, oh, Caden's going to write a movie about how trauma is great, and how all these bad things are so good, let's celebrate our bad traumas. I wasn't trying to do that, but I was trying to kind of investigate how traumatic events add resilience and gives us strength. And bad things shouldn't have happened to us, but they do, and we do get strong.
Make us better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's life. It's who you are.
That's a really cool concept. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and so taking that as kind of like the emotional backing, we wrote a story about a character who deletes their traumas. And because they delete their traumas, in the moment, it's convenient, but she doesn't have the resilience to go on the journey that she's pushed into.
Right.
And so she eventually kind of has to learn, again, without spoiling it, that there's some validity to the memories that we carry.
Oh, cool. I can't wait to see it.
I know. It sounds clever.
Thank you.
We want to go to the premiere.
I know, right?
Me too. At this point, I'm so excited to just watch the finished version. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on it, and I'm just anxious for people to see it at this point, because I've been working on it in these back rooms for 2 years. I crave an audience at this point.
Absolutely.
So you wrapped filming 2 years ago, but how long did it actually take you to film this?
Right. So it was a 27-day shoot, which
fast. That's
good. In the scheme of things, it feels small. In the context of indie films, that was longer than most people get.
Okay.
I hear crazy things that people shoot movies in like 11 days, sometimes shorter. And then there's Chris Nolan's who shoot them in 75 days. You know.
Yeah.
So we're somewhere in between,
middle,
where technically you can shoot this movie in 1 day.
Right.
It wouldn't be good.
Right.
In fact, I can bet you it won't. But having this ability to take a little bit of time, you never actually have enough time on set. It's always go, go, go. But having 27 days versus 13 gave us the ability to find just a little more nuance in each sequence, spend just a little more time. And it never feels like enough while you're there, but you gotta use the time you have as best you can, and I'm proud with what we have.
Yeah,
good.
Time management.
Well, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
How
fun.
Tell us a little bit about some of your other projects, and I've seen some of the clips of the movies you've done. Is there a way for us to watch the entire movie?
As far as Recollection?
Not Recollection, but the other ones that you've done.
Yes, so I have a few short films that I've put out that are available to watch in full right now. The last large one that I did was one called John Thick, a parody of John Wick.
I watched that trailer. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, but it is if you like watching people getting killed by various food products. That we have a short film for you. It's just basically a parody of John Wick, but he's played by a bigger guy like myself, and it's John Thick. So that's a fun one. And then we have Dead Men Ride Again, which was our zombie western we shot in 2020, and that's been making the film festival rounds lately, and it is going to be having a Washington premiere at the Halloween Expo Comic-Con event coming up soon.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, so that's a really fun one. It's a spin-off of the Lake City or the Lilac City Comic-Con, if anyone's familiar with that. This is their Halloween event, and we get to play it there. Cool. So that's going to be a fun time.
That's when Aubrey's in, right?
Yes, that's correct. Aubrey McDavis is in it.
I've seen the poster in his studio.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah,
she's
a great
incredible.
actress. Yeah.
She plays like a charismatic nihilist cowgirl sort of situation. She's awesome. And again, Falk Henschel is in that one as well, her co-star. And we built a a Western town for that short. So the Western town that's up there was made for that production.
Oh, cool.
It was a crazy summer of just swinging hammers as fast as we could to build a makeshift Western town.
Wow.
Yeah. Very cool, though.
Yeah.
Very fun.
That is, one studio does all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was exhausting, but it was fun. And the trailer for that is up on my YouTube channel right now as well.
So your YouTube channel is what?
Caden Butera, just my first and last name on YouTube.
CADEN BUTERA.
That's it.
And then I also put lots of other shorts on there. I just did a time short film competition. I have that up there. All of my short film work within reason is up there.
There's the one about the cops.
Yes, teacups.
Yes. I started watching that one. Yeah.
Teacups.
Teacups.
Not teacups.
Not teacups. Teacups.
Yeah, teacups. Yeah, that's correct.
It looked like it would be funny.
Yeah, that one's basically just 5 minutes of really bad puns and wordplay.
I love it.
That one I made for the 50-hour slam, which is the Spokane Film Festival.
I gotta watch that
cool.
Competition. Yeah, it's a blast every year.
I know a lot of people that do it. I've never done it.
It was awesome. You have 50 hours to write, shoot, edit, and submit a feature, or not a feature film, God, a 5-minute short film.
5 minutes short,
Yeah, and it's a blast every time. We got to win Audience Choice this year, which is super exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just a blast, an absolute blast.
Wow. So you said you made another feature film. What is that one?
Yes, so that one is called Swap Me Baby. It is a raunchy, rated R rom-com body swap movie. It's
I thought
interesting.
You said SWAT.
Oh, SWAT. Yeah, body swap.
Body swap.
So, a pregnant woman and her French gigolo swap bodies.
Oh, funny.
So, yeah, it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for the faint-hearted, but it is. It was a blast shooting that one. We shot it during the pandemic, actually, when everyone's gigs had been canceled. I got a call. I was like, hey, do you want to direct your first feature in Oregon?
You're like, yep.
Like, okay,
I do.
Let's do it. So that was the weirdest, most fun time I've ever had. But yeah, it was a good time. And so Falk Henschel's the co-lead, and then his co-star is his wife, Kim Lehmans, who was actually 7 months pregnant.
Oh, there you
Wow.
go.
And she got more and more pregnant as we continued to shoot. And by the last day, she could barely get up from the couch.
Oh my God.
But she was an absolute trooper. That movie's on Tubi, Apple, and Vudu.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Like those streaming services.
Right.
I think it was on Hulu, but I think it just got taken off. That's a weird one. I can't always recommend that one to everyone.
Yeah, right.
But if you like comedies like that, it's a fun one.
That's
great. For sure.
Well, that's exciting.
Well, if somebody is really interested in seeing your movies or just checking you out, where would they go?
Good question. So my YouTube channel is a great place, but also lately I've been trying to get people to go to my website, which is paradoxstudiosco.com. Co as in company. So paradoxstudiosco.com.
Okay.
And that place has an emailer that if you sign up for the email, basically anytime we have a movie come out or we have an update about Recollection, you get the update in the emailer. And then that also connects us to our social media for the Recollection page. That's where I'm just trying to keep people up to date on behind the scenes stuff, some funny bloopers I share sometimes. So that emailer is a great place to sign up and hopefully receive.
Right, because you're also on Facebook and Instagram.
That's also true, yes. I also have Facebook handles for both Paradox Studios and for Recollection _film. They are all on Facebook and on Instagram and in my website. So if you search a little bit, you'll find it. And then we also have an IMDb page for Recollection as well.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
That's awesome. So there's a lot to watch.
There is, I know. And you can keep in touch. I signed up for their emails.
Oh, you did?
Cool.
Yeah, I will be
thank
signing
you.
up. I haven't signed up yet, but
Wonderful.
I watched some of the trailers, and I'm like, well, I gotta watch
know
more.
they just look
Awesome.
fun. They're fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing Recollection and being at the premiere.
Yes.
Where
we want to walk the red carpet. We'll come in our Allie and Callie shirts.
Perfect.
Like real reporters.
Right.
I love it. I hope to see you there.
I know, right?
Well, this has been so much fun. I just love what you're doing. I love that you're local. I love that you're putting local people to work and bringing in some bigger names too, and hopefully that gives you more visibility, and you just get out there and keep making movies.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. This was a blast.
Oh yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Very fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie, and whatever you do today, make sure it's creative. Make a movie.
Make a movie.
Why not?
The Allie and Callie Artcast is sponsored in part by Tubbs Coffee Roasters, globally sourced, locally roasted coffee. Scraps Barbecue, a locally owned catering company. The Ovation Company, standing for what is right and good. And Pyramid Printing, a Coeur d'Alene favorite for over 2 decades.